Okay, so here about the text, you know that in any Adobe systems applications, you'll find that if you press T in your keyboard, you'll be given the option. I mean, you will be able to select the tool that is the type tool. But more about the options, about the type tool. If you right click there, you have many other options are there. And if you open this one again, it will be in different view. Okay. So anyway, I'll be doing this one. Okay, you can do like this also, and you can cut it out. Anyway, I'll be using the default one, and here are many types of here. You can check it by yourself. But there are some things that we need to. But some of them are the basic ones that we'll be using more frequently. So for that, I'll be discussing or focusing more on those basic ones. Okay. All right. So here, the first one, that is the simple one. When you click on the type tool, there are two ways you can type the text. So the first one is just the normal click. You click once, and if you type something, and then if you increase the text size from this area, okay, so the character means that something that allows you to edit on the size and font face, the paragraph spacing, those anything that is related to the characters, to the alphabet, or it can be to the numbers also. Okay, so anything that you have typed, all the characters that comes out within these will be, if you have selected it, it'll change according to that. Yeah. Now, if I don't select and just click on the box, then also you'll be able to do it. So that is fine. And here, for changing font and then changing the color, now this I will not be discussing. You can do it by yourself. But like I have said earlier, there are two ways that you can start typing in text. Here, the one which I've done just now was just a normal click. Okay. Another one is by making a paragraph. Some of them they're having issues with joining the class. Okay. So here, first type was just normal click. Secondly, I've made a text box first. So by using a text box, I'm trying to type something. Okay. So the difference is that, okay, I'll just type a normal, some random text. So the difference between these two is that this and this is that this one right here, if I click on the bounding box and expand it, you'll see that it is the size and shape are being changed depending on how I control it. Okay. If you want the proportion to be maintained, you can press Shift key and then you can change that. But in this case, if I change that bounding box, actually I'm not changing the box, okay, the bounding box, but actually I'm changing the text box size. Okay, the text box size is being changed. So this is mainly for typography or just putting a single title, and this is for putting some paragraphs. Okay, where you can edit the paragraphs and all. Okay, the alignments. So those are the two ways. Mostly we'll be using this one. Okay, and if there is any long paragraphs, we'll be using this one. Okay, that is about the simple text. Now about the other one, that is coming to the next one, that is area type tool. Okay, so in this area type tool, see yesterday we have done this rectangle and ellipses, and let's put the polygon ones. I'll just draw a simple one like this. So how did it in polygon? How did it come out like this? It's because maybe I have already done the settings from before that. If I right click, and you'll see the radius and number of sides. You can decide the number of sides from here. If I've selected the polygon, if I click once, you'll see that the number of sides are coming out here, or you can decide how many sides that polygon will have, or how many corners that polygon can have. Yeah, so it has 5 corners and 5 sides. So that's what this option is for. Okay, number of sides and radius. Radius is how deep it will go. Okay, now I drew it so that I can explain about this one here. Area type 2. Area means you have a shape and inside that you want to type something. So in those cases, we use this area type too. Okay, and if I click here, it will give you some kind of warning. All right, so because it already has some fill color, maybe that's why. So I'm going to exchange between the fill color and this one, stroke color. So I'll press Control X, I mean Shift X. Okay, Shift X for exchanging between the stroke and fill color. Okay, now if I click here, okay, I should be able to create, or let me just remove the this one also. Okay, so in there, let's see. Now it still says on a compound or non-masking to create a text path. Okay, so here, if when I do that one, okay, when I do like this, see, I'll just tell you once more. When I do this one, and if I directly click on this area, it's not allowed. Okay, now if I exchange between the stroke and fill color, still not allowed. Why? Because I have to go near the path. Then I will be able to start typing. Okay, how did I do that one? Just go near the path, that is the lines. Wherever you want to start, you have to select a point. Okay, maybe I want to start from this point, and then I will click on that, and then you'll be able to type inside that. Okay, so this is what is inside a shape, which is known as the type on area type 2. Right? You might have multiple texts, okay? Like might have something like this. So no matter how much you type, it will still try to fit. I mean, not fit, but it will still try to what type inside that particular area only. Okay, and it won't go outside. All right. So suppose if I have some kind of text like more than like this, then maybe see you'll see that there is a plus right plus sign is there, which means the whole part of your text is not going inside this particular area. This sign indicates that. Okay. So in those cases, what you need to do is you might have to minimize the text size. Okay. So that is the first option. And for the next one, that is, let's say, I will draw another shape. Okay. So you might have done some logo designs in Photoshop. Similar to that, here also. Okay, so I have a path here that is a circular path. And on top of that, I want to type something. So the name itself says that type on a path. Okay, PATH. So this one is for typing on a given path. It can be any kind of path. It can be a rectangle, it can be a circle, it can just be a straight line also. Okay, it can be just some normal curves can be there. So for those cases, we use type on a path 2. And this one here, if I type something like type on a path 2, okay, we'll be discussing more about this one in when we do the logo design. But for now, let me just give you a review on how your text can be edited if we have typed something and you if the position is not where you want it to be. In those cases, you will have to use this one. Using the direct selection tool, you edit the starting point and ending point. Okay, so like if I want this point to be the starting point, then I will change this one. This is the starting point, and this is the ending point. Just near the mouse, you can see a back side, I mean left-sided arrow. Okay, left side pointed arrow. So that means that is the ending point. Okay, so here, since I have selected the paragraph to be center aligned, that's why it's in between these two. Okay, now this one here, there's another pointer here. Okay, this will allow you to change the whole part of your starting point and ending point together, or this can also be used for bringing the text inside also. Okay, inside it can be bringing the text inside the circle or outside the circle. Okay, so I'll just undo it once. If I want to put it inside, as you can see, the text is now coming out inside the circle. Right, so for those cases, this center line is being used for bring it out or in, or maybe moving both the intents, that is uh, starting and ending point of the type only path tool. Okay, so that is something about the type only path tool. We'll be discussing more about that when we do the logo design, some round logo designs now. Okay. Next, there are other types. Vertical means it will just be typed on a like this, along the vertical lines. Okay, downwards. It will be typed downwards. So I think that we need to discuss more. Here also same thing, area, but everything will be typed vertically. Here another one is vertical path tool. Same type path tool, but the text will be aligned vertically. For example, I can give you an example. I have a circle here. I'm going to exchange between the fill color and the text stroke like this. And if I use type on a path tool, but vertical. So if I click on here and then vertical type tool, this is the example. So as you can see, the text are being typed downwards or vertically. Okay, so I can keep it something like this. Sometimes you'll be using this one, maybe when you make logo design and all. Okay, so these are some of the examples that you can do with type 2. Okay, now after that, you can please try to practice it. Whatever I have done now, try to practice it for yourself. If you have any doubts with that one, we'll be discussing together. Okay. All right. Now coming to the next one, I hope you won't be facing that much problem with the type tool, because you have become familiar with that. But the problem is with type only path tool, Okay, all this you try to practice it once, and then you might face problem. You might be able to do it. So if you have any problem with that, please let me know. Okay. Now coming to the next one is about the colors. All right. So for the colors, before I proceed about discussing about putting color stroke and all, I want you to remember something, that is, if I go to edit and check these color settings, okay, in here it says RGB, okay, RGB, even in RGB there are different coatings are there, right? So there are different coatings are there, but the default one is this one that I have used now. Okay, so you can check that one also, but I don't think this, unless there is some problem with coloring, like color is not coming out, even if you have changed the color also, color is not like revealing the way you have changed the color. Then in those cases, you check these settings. Okay. All right, I'll cancel that and I'll put the file again, and in the file again you'll find another color option. Here earlier when I just clicked on that A4 size paper, the default is CMYK. Okay, and for digital circulation, like circulation of pictures or some designs and artworks in electronic devices, RGB is more preferred. Okay, CMYK is mostly for printing purposes, and RGB is for the devices that we can view from the monitor or from our mobile screen. So I'll be using this one. Okay, and since it has been changed to RGB coding now, I can still go back and check this one from the file. That is document color mode is RGB. Okay. Okay. Now there you'll see a little bit differences in all these when you change from RGB to what your this one CMYK. Okay. So let me check once color mode CMYK. And here even in blacks also you will find differences when you after saving you will find the differences. Okay, after saving, while working you might not see much differences. Later you'll come to know, you'll come to, you'll be experiencing all this about changing between the color modes of CMYK and RGB. Okay. Anyway, let's check something more about the coloring. Okay, and coloring in the sense of fill color as well as stroke. And for this, I'm going to give some stroke like this, a little bit big one, so that I will know. Okay, all right. So that I will know the changes of the stroke colors. You know that the fill color can be selected from here, the basic ones. They have already defined some of them. Okay, and you can also define it by yourself from this side. Okay, but what I'm trying to tell you is in this area, that is in the field area, in this panel, you will find some options here, way down somewhere. The fourth icon, if you click there, it says show all swatches. Okay, sometimes by mistake you might have selected like this, and then your colors are not appearing. So it's nothing but because of the settings of the showing the swatches here. Okay, so it can be swatches means the basic colors. See only the color. This is only the color. Okay, and in here gradients will be given, and the other settings are there. Okay, so you can check that by yourself also. But here I have turned on everything, all swatches. That is color, gradient, pattern, everything. So it can be the fill color. The fill can be just a normal color, or it can be like some patterns, okay, or it can be a gradient fill also. Okay, so for color I will not be thinking much about it because that you can define it by from this area also by yourself. But what I want to focus is about the gradient. Okay, gradient. So in gradient fill you can directly select from here, fine, but we have black and white gradient, from white to blackish gradient. So how do I change this one? Okay, and is there any other way that I can fill the gradient? Yes, for gradient you can select this tool also. This for gradient tool. Okay, but you might be searching with the gradient. How do I fill that? So instead of searching that, you just directly put here and put any of these gradients. But remember, this is for this is one of the gradients. This is also another type of gradient. But the next one is a gradient with a transparency. Okay, the last one. But from here you might not be able to see properly. But here actually it has some transparency. Let me check that one with this here. Okay, send this one to the back side. You can see that. Okay. Behind this, you can see the other object because it has some transparency. So the transparency, I mean, the gradient doesn't need to be always colors only. It can be from one color to another color or from one color to some transparency. Okay. Okay, that is how you can fill the gradients. But after filling it up with some gradient, how do I put color? Okay, or what are the different types of the gradient? Okay, so the gradient is of three types in the case of this what Illustrator. First is the linear, second is the radial gradient. Okay, radial, that is the circular, and another one is angular, or you can say this one is free form. Okay, so free form means you can have as much colors as you want. Here, four colors are coming out, or 4 points are coming out. If I click one more, another point will come out here again. If I click one more, another point will come out. And each point represents a color. Okay, so that one, if I, okay, so see, once I click on this select tool, only the corner editors are coming out because that's not about the gradient. If I click this one also, only the points are coming out. But if I click on the gradient tool here, then the circles, I mean the points that represents the colors are coming out. Okay, so this one, I can press on delete key to remove that. Okay, so how do you add this one? You can just click anywhere. Okay, so that's how you have added. If I have to delete it, just click once, delete it. Okay, delete it means press the delete key in your keyboard, and then it will be gone. Okay, now how do I change this color? Let's check with something. Double click, and then I have the colors here. Okay, so this is how you can put the color. But what if I want to change a little bit about the color that I have given now? Maybe I can click here and change the darkness or brightness range of the colors. Or you can also select one of the color from here. Okay, from the color spectrum, you can select one of the color. Okay, or if you want to select a color from outside of this artwork, maybe I want to select this one. Okay, and I can select this. See, it's changed. Okay, like that, you can change for the remaining part of these gradients. Okay, now to explain more about the gradients, because the normal fill color you already have idea about that. Okay, but for the normal color, I will not be explaining to you much. Let's focus on the gradient once again. That here's see. Once you have drawn the rectangle and put the color, you want to change the color of these two colors. So the first step is you can go to gradient. Just below this, you have the gradient options. Okay, in here you can double click on this area and you can select color. Okay, you can select that color like this. Okay, or suppose if I want to add one more color in the middle, maybe a white color, then in this area we just go near this line, near this gradient slider, and click. You can see that a small plus sign is appearing near my mouse pointer. That time you can click, and then one more color will be it. Okay, that color which you can hit again like this. Okay, so that is how you can change the gradient colors. Okay, so if I have put the gradient, now suppose say I don't want to go here and edit again. I want to go and edit this area. So you have to click on the gradient tool again here. And maybe sometimes you might be wondering where is the gradient tool, Then all you have to do is press G in your keyboard. As you can see from this also, shortcut is given as G. Okay, so G means to activate the gradient tool, and then from there you can also use these points option. And these points, this means the color range between these two color. Okay, I want to go more. I want to extend this white color to the left side. Then you can use this slider. Even here the same. But in case if I want to expand this line, you'll have to click on end of the line here like this, and then you can extend that, or you can minimize that line also. Okay, so remember this line that represents the gradient has many parts, or you can change the location of the color, or you can change the you can slide the colors between the two colors. And another end is for the center, to change the center of the gradient, or the ending point of the gradient, where you can extend the line also. Okay, and another part is also if you go just near the line again, I mean the ending point, you can see a bit rotating indicator is there. Okay, so that when that indicator comes out, you can extend like you can rotate also like this. Okay, and of course you can also play around with this line wherever you want to place it. Okay, so that is about the gradient. When you're given a gradient, you just click here on the gradient tool, and then if you see this bar, then you get the idea where you can edit whatever I have shown it to you now. Okay, now see in some, like maybe in Photoshop and all, when I rotate this one, okay, when I rotate the shapes, the gradient will not be rotated. But in the case of the Illustrator, when the gradient will be rotated, okay, see, gradient is in this direction now. Now if I only rotate the shape, even the gradient will be rotated. Okay, that will not happen in Photoshop, so don't be confused with that. Okay, that's not like Photoshop now. Okay. Okay, likewise, in the case of this stroke also, you can apply the same technique for putting the fill color, I mean the gradient or some basic colors. So if I suppose if I put this gradient, okay, even the gradient is applicable to the stroke lines also. It doesn't need to be the fill color only. Even the stroke can have a gradient, which you can edit the same, okay, for this one, the strokes also, okay. All right, so let me select this one, and then, okay, you can see that the gradient is here, right? So see, if I have selected this one, then you'll find the gradient is about the fill color. So in order to decide which gradient you want to edit, you make sure you have clicked in this area. If I click here, that means I'm going to edit the gradients for the stroke. If I've clicked in this area, that means I'm trying to edit for the gradients for the fill color. Okay, so that time even other students also used to have that confusion. So I'm making it clear that you can decide whichever you want to edit. Okay, so if you're editing about the stroke color, click on the stroke from this tool panel, and from there you can go to gradients, or you can press G to edit that. Okay, all right. So after we learn about this color grading, and then about the shapes, we have learned some basic about the shapes, something about the color also. And if we come across more about the colors, I'll be discussing more on those color like gradients, or maybe some other types of being related to colors. Okay. Okay. Now, yesterday I haven't told you something about the shapes because we were short in time. So polygon. Okay. This polygon, like I have discussed a little bit about that today, that you can just click once, and then you can increase the number of sides, then click OK, the number of sides will come out fine. That is about the polygon. But the next one is a little bit confusion is there with this one, start tool. Okay, so with the start tool, if I just directly click it and draw like this is something which I have defined earlier. Okay, I've defined earlier means if I click once, and there are some options which I can change. Okay, radius 1, radius 2, radius 1 means size, radius 2 means the inside that it'll go inside. If I make it 50 and click OK, okay, see it's the corners are coming out more. Corners like this one. Okay, so it's more to the outside. Now, what if I reduce that one now? Okay, if I reduce it to, let's say 30 only, then you can see that it's going more inside. Okay, so if I make it suppose if I make it 0, see, it's fully to the inside. Okay, so radius 2 is talking about the inset, INSET. Okay, we will call it inset. And here, if I want let's say, okay, suppose if I make it 25, okay, this is what I get. Okay, so you can check that by yourself also, but there is a shortcut which we, when while drawing it, there is a shortcut which we can manipulate how the shape will come out. Okay, first of all, while I'm drawing it, okay, I have not released the mouse. Okay, I have not released the mouse. I'm still pressing the mouse, and I'm still holding the mouse. And if I press Control key, then you can see that inset is changing. Okay, so using Control, you can change the radius to or the inset. Okay, okay, that's it. That's the first one. Secondly, I'm still holding the mouse. If you use the navigation key in your keyboard, navigation means something that has arrow signs, left, right, top, and bottom. If I press the top or the up arrow, I can increase the number of the sides. If I press it down, the down arrow, I can minimize the number of the sides. Okay, so that is how you can do these star-shaped structures. And remember, using Control, you are able to control the inset. Using arrow keys, that is navigation keys. You can press up and down to increase the number of sites or decrease the number of sites. And of course, just without using any of those, just using mouse, you're able to change the sizes. Okay, which you can change it later on also. But before releasing the mouse, please try to change it all this using control key and then up and down arrow keys. Okay, and make sure that this is okay. After that, only you release it because there is no turning back. That you can change this one again. No, there is no way. Okay, there is no other option that I want to change this. Right from the starting point itself, you have to make sure that this is the record set that you need. Okay. Right, so that is we have discussed a little bit about the field color, a little bit about the text. I'm not discussing in full detail because when we do some assignments and practices, we'll be facing more practical uh, issues or maybe some doubts also. That time we can carry it out. Okay, that's some kind of introductory with all this text and then the colors, even the shapes that I have left out yesterday, I've discussed here. So is there